Right at the beginning, there are many ways I try and define a show, the theme, what's going to happen on the show. This time I'm completely out of words because there's just too much. Sometimes I show you this and you know there's going to be an unboxing. Yes, there's an unboxing. Sometimes I call it a CPK, a Chappad Phadke show, saying there's so much on the show. I can't even call it that because this is way above a Chappad Phadke. I'll tell you what, you be the judge and you give this show a theme and a name. First and foremost, we have this one. The Vivo Nex complete and absolute hands-on review. Then the other huge story, the BlackBerry Key 2. Many people have been waiting for this one after the BlackBerry Key 1 became such a big success for all those people that love the keyboard and love the BlackBerry security experience. Yes, the Key 2 is here, full hands-on review. And then we'll unbox this, the brand new mid-segment champion, as most people are calling it, the Honor 9N. Only unboxing. Next week will be the full detailed review, and a very special guest will join me next week. But right now it's this and the other big story, our top story really. Corning Gorilla Glass 6 gets launched in the US, and we had Sanjana to cover it all in one show.
Corning unveiled its new Gorilla Glass 6, which is the strongest glass for your smartphone in the times to come. Vivo's Nex is the phone from the future as it comes with a pop-up selfie camera, in-display fingerprint scanner and top-notch features. We review the phone to tell you if it's worth your money. BlackBerry is back with Key 2. It is a huge jump from Key 1 but does justify its price tag, and should you buy it, find out.
So lots of stuff on the show, but lots of news also pouring in from the world of mobiles. The big news, of course, was that the launch of the Honor 9N finally happened. And I'm going to show you the launch, and when we come back, I'm going to unbox the phone for you right here.
At a big launch event held in New Delhi, Honor launched its latest premium budget offering, the Honor 9N. Honor had Bollywood's ravishing Bhumi Padnekar to unveil the phone. The phone is big on looks with all-class design. It comes with a 5.8-inch Full HD Plus display, Kirin 659 processor, dual rear camera and 3000 mAh battery. The 9N is priced aggressively at a starting point of 11,999 rupees for the 3GB and 32GB variant. We will review this phone and also have a candid chat with Bhumi next week on Cell Guru.
So like I promised you, a very quick unboxing of the Honor 9N right now. Very interesting phone. I don't know which color we've got out here. In fact, let me also be surprised about it, because they've got things like a robin egg blue. Exotic names. Let's see which one we've got. So it's typical of an Honor phone, the turquoise build and the box and the quality, it's all the same. Now, one of the big things about this phone is the fact that it's a true made in India, including the PCB. Very rare that a PCB is made here in India. So this is what we have right now. So I've got the sapphire blue phone. So I think the 2 or 3 big things, of course, in this phone, taking forward the legacy of the 9 series, is the fact that for about a 11,000-12,000 rupee phone, it's got a full glass back and it's got a notch screen. So great looking, good optics and a great screen. So this then is our unboxing of the Honor 9N, full detailed review next week. But before we get on to these 2 huge phones, let's go to a story that I think will have a serious amount of impact on all our lives, and that's Corning Gorilla Glass 6, the next generation glass from Corning Gorilla. And this really is a big game changer. They've now tested and demonstrated that it can actually withstand 15 drops from a 1 meter height onto an actual hard surface, a rough surface, which really is no joke. So Sanjana went all the way to California for the launch. So Sanjana, obviously, my biggest and most important question that I think is very important because it has the most impact on everybody's life. How's Victor, the gorilla?
Well, Rajiv, I knew you would ask about Victor the gorilla, and no, I'm not with him, but I am at the tech center of Corning Gorilla Glass in California. And today, Corning might have broken the glass ceiling. Well, I'm talking about their latest launch, the new Corning Gorilla Glass 6. Now, when will we see it on smartphones? What have they focused on? Well, they focused on drop durability, which means it can withstand a fall of 1 meter, not once, but actually 15 times. So let's take a look at that and a lot of other demos that they've put this glass through. As phones get slimmer and sleeker, the good news is that glass is definitely getting stronger and more resilient. And inside the Technology Center of Corning Gorilla Glass in Sunnyvale, California, the company launched the Gorilla Glass 6. The new glass is said to be much more durable than the previous Gorilla 5. The focus of this glass seems to be on drop durability, and the Gorilla Glass 6 can survive a fall of 1 meter 15 times. This is 2 times better than the Gorilla Glass 5, and it means that your next smartphone should be able to survive multiple drops.
With Gorilla Glass 6, we focused on survivability of multiple drops. We did some studies, and on average people drop their phones 7 times a year, and the majority of those drops are from 1 meter. So even though Gorilla Glass 6 outperforms Gorilla Glass 5 in terms of height, it also outperforms it in terms of number of drops. In our lab test, Gorilla Glass 6 survived on average 15 drops from 1 meter on a rough surface, twice the rate of Gorilla Glass 5. And when we compared to other competitors' glasses, they broke on the first drop.
The drop durability was best displayed with the drop test that Corning carries out in this facility, where the glass goes through a series of drops at a height of 1 meter. First, they put a glass with a different composition of aluminosilicate through the test. They dropped it from a 40-degree angle and, well, it shattered. The same thing was carried out on the Corning Gorilla Glass 6, around 15 times, and it did not break. Another test carried out was the surface impact test, or what can be termed the super slapper. A very rough sandpaper of 180 grits is placed at the bottom, and glass with different levels of energy are dropped. The aluminosilicate glass with 0.25 joules was dropped, and it did not survive. Next, the test was carried out on the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 with 2.3 joules of energy, and it did not break. The pendulum impact was then applied to the Gorilla Glass 6, in fact with double energy, 4.3 joules, and it emerged winner. So the Gorilla Glass 6 is really 2 times better than the previous Gorilla Glass 5.
So really we've taken this glass from the ground up and we've modified the glass composition, modified the process, modified the way that we strengthen or ion exchange the glass, and really enabled by that a higher survivability for these everyday drops. So the focus has really been on consumer data, which says that people are dropping their devices multiple times per year, and how do we improve survivability in those drop events.
Well, now I'm at another part of the lab where a very interesting test is actually being carried out. An impact hammer is used to show how fully supported structures can be really important in the usage of Corning Gorilla Glass. So the first one that I'm actually going to try out, first I'm going to wear these safety goggles. Well, as you can see, the glass didn't break. And now we're going to do it on a loosely supported structure and see if it does break or not. The minute I place it, and there we go. There are a lot of other staple tests that Corning carries out on their glasses. This includes a damage resistance test, how a scratched glass handles impact, and an inclined heavyweight ball falling on the glass. This was demoed using aluminosilicate glass which broke, then on the Corning Gorilla Glass 3 and 5, both which passed the test. But our favorite was the purse tumble test that the glass undergoes. As the name suggests, all items in a purse were dropped into this machine, including the Corning Gorilla Glass 6, and the machine was switched on for around 45 minutes. Finally, this was the scratches result that emerged, with the new Corning Gorilla Glass 6 having the least amount of scratches in this brutal test. The high-end phones might come out with this resilient glass in the future, but will we get to see the Corning Gorilla Glass 6 on the mid-segment or entry-level phones as well?
I think it's a tremendously wise choice to make, because a lot of times people go out and put screen protectors on their phones and they're willing to spend 100, 200, 300, 400 rupees on a screen protector or even more on a case. So clearly the consumer wants that protection. I think it'd be great if the brands gave it to them by putting the best glass possible onto their phones to give them the protection they deserve.
And beyond the glass tech, the company is also changing the way glass can look and feel. And as glass back phones become popular, Corning is using inkjetting to create beautiful designs and patterns. From reflective finishes to smooth, smudge-free glass backs, there's a wide variety. They can even create different textures on the glass. So this Lego-looking finish has some texture to it, as does this wooden-looking glass back. Corning is leaving no stone unturned in glass aesthetics.
Let's move on now to this, the Vivo Nex phone, a very radical phone, because it's companies like Vivo now that are taking innovation to the next level. We expect innovation from the giants, from those that are established and are known for innovation, but it's Vivo And like I said, companies like Vivo that are absolutely and totally forging ahead. Now, before I unbox into the full review of the Vivo Nex, I'm going to tell you 4 things in this phone that are extremely radical. First, it has no notch. How did they really get that? Because they put out a pop-out camera. So the front camera actually pops out from behind the screen. So it doesn't need a notch to actually put the front camera. The third, a fingerprint scanner built in that is so fast, it's now beating normal fingerprint scanners that are at the back or actually embedded in a button. And the fourth is what most people don't know about, and that is sound. We all forget the fact that eventually we're buying phones to make voice calls, whether it's a WhatsApp call or a video call. Sound determines the quality of your experience. The frustration levels with bad sound is terrible. They took out the earpiece and put in brand new Soundcast technology into it, and we'll talk to you about that entire thing. So 4 things which I'm going to demonstrate to you right now, then we'll go to the review. So here's the phone, and some of the things are 1, 2, 3. I'll be able to tell you about those right away. The first, no notch. As you can see, there's no notch on this phone at all. Second, the fingerprint scanner, obvious and right out here. And the third, watch carefully because this birdie goes away very quickly. Okay, that's the third. And the fourth, of course, is the sound technology, which I think is very, very important. Let's take a detailed look at the Vivo Nex.
The smartphone world is getting interesting, and thank God for it. We mean, look at the Vivo. The company has managed to grab consumers' eyeballs and industry's attention with all the innovation and features that they have put in the Nex, and that too at a price of 44,990 rupees. Now we got our hands on it and we were pretty thrilled about this phone. The Vivo Nex is no ordinary phone. It looks fresh, well put together, and comes with an X factor no other phone has. And Rajiv has just showed you what it is. Nex is attractive. The all-screen front with no notch, no bezels hit us the minute we held the phone. The glass back comes with a speckled pattern, and even though it is all glass, it still feels solid in the hand. Now coming to the big X factor of this phone, a motorized pop-up selfie camera. Yes, that's the alternative Vivo came up with for removing the notch completely from the screen. The pop-up mechanism pushes the camera up from the top of the phone as soon as we turn on the selfie camera. Okay, it's a second or less, but the camera does show up. When we close the camera or switch to the rear camera, the selfie camera retracts back down and disappears. Even though the front camera is just 8 megapixels, the selfie came out well. There is a dual camera at the back, vertically placed, which clicks good shots. There is no face unlock on this. However, the in-display fingerprint sensor works really well, and we love this tech by Vivo. There's a 6.59-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display with a 19:3:9 aspect ratio. Watching videos and playing games is a sweet treat on this phone. The other important tech in this phone is screen soundcasting. Vivo has also done away with the normal earpiece and has instead replaced it with a motor that vibrates the display glass itself. It works much the same as bone conduction, and Vivo claims it's better. We made some calls and we were not entirely impressed, as we think it still needs more work. Vivo is a powerhouse with Snapdragon's latest 845 processor and 8GB RAM. There is 128GB internal storage, which sadly is not expandable. It comes with 4000 mAh battery and Whoop charging capability, which can charge this phone to 50% in 30 minutes. The Nex runs on Android 8.1 with its own FunTouch OS on top. The phone has gesture control and is loaded by a bunch of handy features. The verdict: the Nex is bold and beautiful. The pop-up camera mechanism makes it look like a phone of the future. We like what this phone offers at a price of 44,990 rupees. If you're looking for some excitement with your phone, then yes, totally take a look at it. If not, we say wait till we see how better all this tech can be implemented in the future.
Let's get down to the innovation platform itself. A lot of people quite surprised that Vivo would come up with all these innovations and then cram them all into a single phone rather than spacing it out. Most flagships do one big bang and then they wait for the next one because you have to have a big bang every time. You've crammed 4 or 5 things into a single phone. Is that deliberate? Is this Vivo trying to move up the value chain or the innovation platform? Which one is it?
Sure, Rajiv. I think that's a good question. One can space out the innovations, but here we've crammed all into one. It's all a very, all a part of a big strategy of what we want to do to the consumer. We want to bring to him all the innovations possible and rethink which is not possible at all. Also talking about our in-display fingerprint scanner, the way we introduced it with the Apex and with the X20, we've upped the game there. So overall, I must say, all you've seen is a lot of innovation, but still this is only a fraction of our innovation pipeline.
So you saw the pop-out camera, you saw the fingerprint scanner. So we sent the phone out to all of you out there in the marketplaces for you to tell us, can you identify where the camera is? Can you tell us where the fingerprint scanner is? Let's find out how many got it right.
Unlock, well, I think it's over here. No? I don't know. And the selfie camera. Somewhere over. I can't make it out.
Back side, I think.
No, the front camera.
Here. It's quite nice and different from others.
Where is the front camera?
No idea. Very nice. It's very different.
Lots has already happened on this show, but lots going to happen on the Cell Guru show when I come back from a break.